thing. This committee last week didn't do either. It held an illegal election. Procedure was just all over the place, and nobody stepped in. I had to try to. This committee is about the selective enforcement of marijuana offenses against people primarily who are poor people of color in the Tenderloin, in the Bayview, in public housing, and in SROs. It concerns people who are disabled and people in city colleges. And I think the committee should be about advocacy and about activism. The chair should be somebody connected to those communities and to whom those committees would talk to. We need to develop a plan to listen and to get accurate data from those communities about arrest and harassment. I want to talk here and ask if everybody's done the Sunshine Ordinance training, because last week people hadn't. It wasn't down at the Ethics Committee. I think the chair needs to respect the public, and I have heard, and it may just be a rumor, that people were making phone calls to committee members and asking them and telling people that the public who were speaking here were a rogue element. That doesn't seem respectful or democratic to me, or in the spirit of the Sunshine Ordinance. So I'm asking if Camilla and Michael were doing that, and I'm asking, is that true? Did you do that? Because I'm very concerned about that. It seems diametrically to the call I got from Camilla, or my partner got from Camilla, that said that there was no ego involved in this. And I'm concerned about a letter we got from Camilla that said I'm sorry, we had a copy of the letter that's mysteriously gone from our pile of papers here. There's the letter. And the quote that I want to give here: with a Northern European heritage, I tend to be a good organizer and planner, skills that will hopefully benefit all in the room, as well as those who are not able to be present. You know, when I got this letter, I just stared at it for 5 minutes. I'm very uncomfortable with this letter because I don't think people's heritages have anything to do with whether they're good planners or not. 30 seconds. So maybe we all can make things run smoothly. I'm not sure who can make trains run on time. I'm not sure what heritages have to do with it or leadership, because I know plenty of my African American friends and Latinos and Native Americans who are great planners too. But I know that I would like Aleem or Mira or Kathy, who I know have contacts with those communities who are most affected by selective enforcement, to be the chair in this committee. And I'm very concerned about this letter. So I was concerned, I shook when I read it.
Time. Thank you. Mr. Cohen.
I'm deeply concerned. I mean, the practice of this committee, that the illegal election held last time, this committee is supposed to be a vehicle for justice. But, when certain members try to hijack the election process and with improper nominations, that goal is undermined. As well as the problem with the tape, it's intended for public record, and I mean that goes beyond any stretch of propriety, and I mean it just screams of a huge lack of integrity. And for the member who feels that her Northern European heritage makes her better able to lead this group, please save that sentiment for a Klan meeting. It doesn't belong here. Racism is not a San Francisco value at all. And you know what? That just brings up another point. This committee is a little too wide. I think the next term seating should require some affirmative action seats. Latinos as well as African Americans, because let's face it, none of you are subject to targeted arrest, selective enforcement, but plenty of Latinos and African Americans are. And I think they need a voice on this council also. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
It's Shona. Okay, nobody ever gets my last name right. I just want to state for the record that we did have the clerk leave. However, we seem as a group to be able to conduct ourselves well. And although much controversy is at the table, we seem to be dealing with it in an appropriate and adult manner. And I would like the recording to reflect that. And in the hope that this committee will not be shut down simply because of an inappropriate behavior from the clerk. Secondly, I'd like to state that there's an element of classism, I think, in some of the comments that have been made, that for some reason a policy head with resources should be elected. A policy head with resources should play a supportive role and learn from this process. And often, as privileged people and people with privilege, we often need to take supportive roles and learning roles, and often our roles are to use our privilege to its best advantage to the freedom of others. So I think it's important that policy heads are at the table. I was the constructor of the positions that you are seated in. I was a part of the working group, and the reason why I seated a policy head was for a supportive role.
Thank you, Sharon. Do you have your name?
Bruce?
Yes, my name is Bruce Gifford,
Mr.
and
Gifford?
I'd like the board just to bear with me for a brief second while I go off on one of my, when I joined the military in 1971 and was promised a whole lot of stuff and wound up in a small little town called Cu-Chi, where I was instructed at 17 years old to jump out the helicopter and start screaming and fire my M16. 30, 40 years later, I'm sitting in this room and I'm hearing a whole lot of stuff. I see a lady walk out of the room, and I mean, come on people, we're here to, not for something illegal, we're here to work together to make sure that people such as myself that has a hard time getting, my wheelchair was stolen 3 weeks ago. That's the only reason why you see me here on a cane. And it's very hard for me to walk, but this is very important to me. I do cannabis, and I will be a supporter. Like Charlton Heston said, you can take it from my dead cold hands. I don't do it in front of kids. I keep it away from children. Children have no right to hear this. When I see people doing their stuff on the street, that's where the concern needs to be, not here with the marijuana. The marijuana is medicine, and it's time we started looking at it, and it's time the alcoholic industry got their hands out of it, because if you look back to the early 30s, you'll see where this whole movement stemmed. It was called Prohibition. The alcohol industry did not want marijuana. That's why they came out with these movies. Now I'm sitting here listening to a lady she got all upset and walked out. Can't we work together? Can't we come up with some sort? I know a few people here, and the few people that I do know are very nice individuals, very good to talk to, very intellectual. And I'd like to see us just work together, get this thing resolved in the manner in which San Francisco and the rest of the nation are going in the first place. Let's be the first. Let's set an example. And with that, I can ramble on and on. I apologize for taking up so much time. My name is Bruce Gifford. I will sit down.
We have a hand over here.
Thank you, Mr. Gifford. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Nikki Norris. I was also on the working group that helped pass this ordinance. I would like to support the nomination of Camilla Field. I worked with her very closely on this initiative. She was extremely professional. She brought in lots of resources, as Richard had mentioned. She's very courteous. She has a wonderful manner. She's respectful to people. She can bring, I believe, can run a good meeting. I was with her